are the textbook.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to play in the pack at your position, put on a Gotham video. If you think that inside line is left open, it's not. You know, if you think the speed changes aren't all that important, well, they'll show you why they are. And of course, they've got their conditioning program is unlike anybody. I think.
They do an incredible amount of conditioning. Speaking of conditioning, we've got Erkin Jerkin here jamming for Rocky Mountain, and you know these Denver teams, they always have the that advantage of training a mile higher and thinner oxygen than normal athletes anywhere else. And when they go anywhere that's not Denver, it gives them such a great advantage, just physically, because they're able to breathe better than they're used to.
I should move there. I'm going to move there. I think it give me an advantage.
An incredible jam.
And right there, Erkin Jerkin just like, okay, I got 15, sorry.
Now we got Bonnie Thunders on the line, another Gotham skater. Fia Fassi Oi for New Zealand.
It's going to be number 828. That's going to be Fia Fazio, I believe is. That's going to be my shot at it.
We'll go with it.
But talking to Mike Riot earlier today, I said, so tell me, Team Australia, of course, looked very good against Team Germany. Team Germany certainly being overmatched by the experience that Australia has.
Right.
Australia really having been in the game probably, let's see, the Victorian Roller Derby League probably came into play about 5 years ago, I would say. And so ask them, New Zealand, Australia, what's that level of competition like? Well, they haven't played a lot of interleague play yet between the two countries, but it's starting to happen. And it would certainly be something to see those two teams come up against each other, because I think you'd see a pretty good fight.
Yeah, I think so.
And right now we've got a timeout. Rev Riot talking to Buster Cheaton.
That may be something that the New Zealand teams can do to grow in the future, is to play some of those Australian teams. You know, geographically speaking, they're practically neighbors. And, you know, we see a lot of cross-border play between the Canadian teams and the American teams. And it certainly helped programs like Montreal become the top-tier team that they have, is being able to face those East Coast teams like Gotham and Boston.
Yeah, and you're seeing the same thing in Vancouver also, where Vancouver's able to come down and make one of those West Coast death runs where they'll play, which has become so popular, where they will play a public game, maybe, you know, against one of the teams. So maybe they hit Rat City and play a public game. Then they play two closed-door games the next 2 days against Rose and Ole. And out east, we're seeing the same thing, which is what Montreal has done. You come down, they'll hit Gotham, they'll hit Philly, they'll hit Charm, you know, and they will take their lumps in chunks and go home and figure out how to fix their game a little bit.
And you had to excuse me, I'm a little distracted by the Bay Nana. He's the Charm City's cheerleader on loan to Team USA this weekend.
Also a member of the New York Shock Exchange.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, and a congrats, it goes out to them. I had a blast at the men's champs out in Long Island about 3 weeks ago. Congratulations to the guys. And the guys and the girls really tight on those two New York squads. Oh, fisticuffs right there. Butt in the gut. And she is going to drive the jammer out of bounds. She's looking for a little room on the outside. And generally speaking, Joe, that's not a good place to look for it, because they'll give it to you for a minute.
Yeah, Yeah, you try it. That's so risky. That's such a gamble to try and make your way through the pack on the outside because you may find yourself out of bounds very quickly at the hands of your opponents. Inside track is generally a safer bet. Plus, going to the outside, you can get one of those blockers. An opportunistic blocker can zero in on you from the inside of one of those curves, cut to the outside, and just plow you. I guess since we're in Canada, it'd be like a snow plow hitting you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
I've seen the snow plows up here now, and that's serious business.
Yeah, Bowling Green's not quite as impressive with their snow removal.
We don't have snow plows like that in Kentucky.
You just stay home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin. We actually drive in that stuff. Bonnie Thunder's out there all by her lonesome. And as Joe and I try to give you a little more education as to the tournament and what's going on, score very one-sided at 248-0. 15 minutes left, which puts us halfway through the second half of this Pool C qualifier bout. Again, as we've talked about earlier, and we will talk about tomorrow morning, all of these teams playing each other to establish a win-loss record, which will then go through an algorithm that'll put them into the elimination bracket, seeded by their performance in these qualifying rounds.
That's right. So even though, you know, it's pretty clear that New Zealand's not going to be able to get a victory here, not that big of a deal because it's not like they're out of the tournament.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just going to affect their seeding in the tournament. They may have to work a little bit harder to wind up ranked higher at the end of it. But, you know, that's not necessarily a hill they can't climb.
No, and that's a great point, Joe, because, you know, New Zealand could come out of this, win their last game, win their second pool qualifier, and, you know, based on the performance of that, could wind up easily seated somewhere towards the center.
Right, and you know, I mean, you can kind of think of it this way. New Zealand's warm-up bout is against Team USA, so they're going to learn a lot even from just this one bout. They're going to take away a lot from this, and they can apply it as they go forward this weekend.
And Plaza from New Zealand crowd looks like because of the defensive effort.
that was cute. Passing the camera there.
Well, I tell you, you've worked hard enough. You came far enough. A little high mom's okay. That much you have coming, no question. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that as I've looked around here on both tracks today, as we do have two tracks running simultaneously, and you look at the names on the backs of the refs' jerseys, we're not exactly short of really good referees.
No, we've got a lot of familiar faces here. For those of you who are big fans of the WFTDA, you may have seen a lot of these referees at some of these WFTDA Big Five playoffs. Some of the best referees in the world here.
Yeah, we've got Rev Rioter right out there right now from the Mad Roland Dolls. I believe Tootie Tin Whistle has been out here.
These guys are no stranger to high-profile bouts, and they're not nervous or rattled at all by the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, and the way this particular qualifier is going, I think the lead jam ref is probably the one that's sucking wind at the end of this.
Yeah, I don't envy the job of the referees. I like mine from the sidelines here, seated a little bit better.
Oh, right there's a nice move. Is that Akers? It's got to be. No, I take that back. That was Joy Collision. As she leverages her body and her opponent all the way off the track, basically not moving. And I tell you, you will see Akers do that same thing from Denver. In fact, she does that better than maybe anybody I have ever seen. I swear I once saw her lean against somebody and bent at about about a 60-degree angle. I don't know how she was standing to pin somebody to the inside of the track. It was an amazing, amazing sight. And it's one of those moments that, with all the bouts I've seen, I will never forget.
Right.
You know? It had nothing to do with who was scoring or winning. I'll just never forget that moment going, oh my God.
You know, we've got some incredibly agile skaters on the track today. And maybe we can see another moment like that this weekend.
Well,
we've already seen an apex jump.
Yeah. Well, the highlight tonight is actually going to be the U.S. squad being broken into two sides and playing the Stars and Stripes bout.
Yeah, that should be a great bout later this evening.
And, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to get to do the live call on that event.
That's going to start at 9 Eastern. You can join Bob Noxious here and John Maddening, as they call it.
Well, yeah, we'll do the live call. I tell you, it's so loud in here for the rest of these bouts, it's going to be deafening.
Oh, yeah.
When that bout is played.
I think so. And you know, that's one thing that I wonder how the skaters help prepare for the noise that they're up against, because not only do they have the crowd noise, these incredibly pumped up fans, 2 sets of announcers, 2 sets of referees, you know, there's a lot of noise, and sometimes you have to wonder how do you prepare for that?
Just like that. And ladies and gentlemen, USA has just hit 303 points with 10 minutes left in the second period. And it's 303-0.
Yeah, we're roughly halfway through the second period. Tara Santana now on the line for New Zealand.
I feel a technical issue coming up.
Frida Beater on the line for Team USA. Frida Beater, the lead jammer. She's a skater you may have seen for Rocky Mountain. No stranger to a high-profile bout herself. This pumped-up crowd making a lot of noise in support of Frida Beater, picking up 4 points, calling off the jam. Teflon Donna now, number 85 for Team USA. You see her in the white jersey if you're just joining us. Axel Slasher in the black jersey for New Zealand. It looks like New Zealand's going to take a knee to get this jam started quickly. And a no-pack situation. Jammers are released immediately. Let's see if the strategy works for New Zealand. And it does! New Zealand with their first lead jam. New Zealand. The crowd goes wild. This crowd loves an underdog. Axel Slasher has this crowd fired up. Axel Slasher now at the back of the pack. Yes. That looks like at least 1 point. That's going to break the goose egg. Can she pick up a few more? 4 points. 4 points. Axel Slasher picks up 4 points on this jam. This crowd is fired up. Still a minute and a half remains in this jam. Team USA picking up some points of their own. But that's not why this crowd is so fired up right now. Axel Slasher looking to pick up some more points here, but having a hard time making her way past this red, white, and blue 3-wall. And some applause from Team USA out of respect. Team New Zealand picks up 4 points on the last jam. Team USA now sits at 329 points. But those 4 points for New Zealand, very hard earned. Tara Satada now on the line for Team New Zealand. Looking to keep that momentum going, but looks like, yes, Team USA lead jam. Number 21, Psychobabble from Rocky Mountain. She came to Rocky Mountain last year. Her sister is Deranged. She's also on Team USA. Deranged and Psychobabble originally for Pikes Peak. They came to Rocky Mountain last year. A dynamic duo of sorts. Certainly Team USA an asset to this team. Psychobabble picking up some points. 5 more points, another nickel in the bank for Team USA. Team USA now sits at 344, New Zealand 4. Skate the Muss now on the line for Team New Zealand. Atomatrix number 3 on the line for Team USA. And it looks like we may have a timeout. I'd like to thank you for joining us on Derby News Network. Footage is brought to you by Hinkley Productions. DVDs of every bout are available online at www.rollerderbyworldcup.com. You can relive all the action of this weekend.
Well, you can hear the roar of New Zealand picking up those first points outside, probably.
Wow. Bob Knox just stepped outside just to verify that you could hear it outside.
Yep.
I think they heard it in Quebec.
A little personal business.
Had to see a guy about a horse. That's what we call it in Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that this well, first off, this event is sold out. And let's just say that while in gameplay, there's really not a good course from one side to the other without ending up on the track somehow.
Yeah. Yes. 4
and
more
there we go
points.
again.
New Zealand now doubles their score, 8 points. And this crowd is loving it. This crowd loves an underdog, Bob.
Well, who doesn't? I mean, the thing about the sport is this: it takes individuals, you know, and a lot of people look at it from the skater's point of view, and obviously what you would, but it takes individuals, not just skaters. It takes refs. It takes guys like you and I who wind up doing something they never thought they would be doing before.
That's so true.
It builds a passion. It builds a camaraderie with people all over the country, now all over the world. It gives you a level of confidence that you've not had. I never held a mic before in my life, Joe, and I'll tell you, the first time I stood in front of 1,000 people, I wasn't sure if I'd talk or not, but it worked.
Well, you know what's funny is I used to be an intern in sports radio, and I said I would never work in sports radio again, and now I'm a sports broadcaster. I just never would have seen it coming.
But yeah, live venue announcing, when you've got a big crowd, that's the fishbowl.
Yeah.
And 8 years ago, I didn't see that one coming, but I'm sure glad it did. Akers right there showing you how she can leverage that. And man, is she quick. Not only does she end up knocking the jammer out of bounds, she is backward about 5-6 feet in no time at all, and then just scoots off.
She just glides with such grace across the track.
I mean, the Denver Derby Dolls are just so amazingly athletic. That is a fun team to watch. A very fun team to watch. They're one of those teams that if you're going to get a bout that's going to be, let's just flat out play, not a lot of slow starts, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They are the old Sacramento Kings of roller derby.
Yeah, yeah. Tara Satana now on the line for New Zealand. Bonnie Thunder is on the line for Team USA.
Oh, Bonnie again. That sideways lateral movement. And it's not skating movement. It's pretty much toe stop movement at that point.
Yeah.
And she's through there.
That was a nice wall by New Zealand, although, you know, Bonnie Thunders can take any wall and make it look.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Against most other players, that person's totally sealed.
Yeah.
There was no space in there.
She's really good at, if you'll watch her here when she comes to these walls, she can plant her shoulder in so that she can kind of wiggle her way through if she needs to.
Yeah.
And she can do that without picking up a back block. That's the secret to trying to break through an impenetrable wall, is just to use that shoulder, plant it in there, and make your way through, make a path.
Yeah, it's basically crowbarring it. It's almost like using it as a crowbar.
Yeah.
And the thing is that Bonnie, you've really got to be able to turn yourself sideways. And when Bonnie gets sideways, there's nothing to her. So she does not. I mean, and
you couldn't hit her with a handful of corn.
No, but the truth is that she's going to get through some space. That there's just no way that there's other people to be able to get through between the agility and her size.
That's very true. And that's going to do it. Our unofficial final score: Team USA 377, New Zealand 8.
And we want to thank everybody who's tuned in from around the world. We want to say, we certainly want to give a shout out to everybody from New Zealand who was watching. Again.
Yeah, it's really late at night there, isn't it? Or is it really early in the morning?
It might be tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow, actually.
Well, thank you anyway for joining us, fans of New Zealand.
And that's right. Continue to watch. Continue to follow the schedule. You can find it. You could go to bloodandthundermagazine.com, hit the World Cup link. You will find the total schedule up there.
That's right.
Or you can just go straight to Derby News Network and find it right there and watch it. But either way, for those of you across the world, gives you an opportunity to know when your team's going to play. Unfortunately, the one thing we cannot tell you is when they will play specifically
after Friday afternoon.
Yeah. If you look right now, you will know exactly when your team plays through Friday afternoon. And then, of course, once the elimination bracket is set up, it'll be tomorrow evening that you will know at least what your team will be, when your team's next game will be.
That's right. That'll all be released around I think 5 in the evening Friday.
Yeah,
is that right?
we take a break at 2:30. We're back at 5 or 5:30. So. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. World Cup has just been a tremendous experience. We can only imagine that this won't be the first one.
Yeah, that's just getting started, Bob.
Yeah, and make sure you get your tickets early next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure, and we'll turn it over to the sounds of the crowd.
Sometimes it's okay when you do a blowout when it's such a new type of thing that you can actually just talk about, because nobody at home is screaming, "What you talking about?" Well, you're down by 3.
Yeah, that's the only way to keep anybody interested.
Yeah, you really kind of have to adjust at that point.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's so funny sitting around like, oh my God, my back keeps floating. And I'm like, I ended up cutting through the benches and shit to get out of here. I couldn't find a route around that way. I couldn't find a route through the center. I'm just like, if I piss myself, I can never come back again.